How we got our first AI agency client in the first 3 to 4 weeks without even trying. Honestly, it's just hopping on the new trend that everyone else is hopping on to. And how we're booking calls with people and company CEOs that are worth 70 mil, 500 mil revenue, multi-billion dollar companies. This is kind of just our calendar when we first got started. One of our mates, he's also in the space booking calls for his AI agency, using our inboxes and kind of our structures. Just responses, booked calls recently done February 3rd, and this is over January of some calls that we booked in. I would meet with you. This is a campaign on one of my AI agency mates that is using our like inbox infrastructure. He booked his first few calls in the first week of his campaigns with 70 mil company, 20 mil company. And the main principle that we follow is kind of volume negates like. It's what Alex Hormozy say. If you roll a die 1,000 times, you're likely to get lucky. And when you get lucky, people will call you out. The difference is you can force luck to happen by doing so much. It would be unreasonable not to get lucky. And this is what normies don't understand and why you will beat them. The main concept of this video, I'm just going to be showing you the exact infrastructure and exact steps and tools and tech stack and everything we use to be able to send multiple thousands a day, and how we're booking multiple calls a week, and sort of how you can do something similar and so you don't struggle. Because a lot of people, they do when it comes to AI agency, like from what I've seen, is they're not just doing enough volume when it comes to outbound. You're doing 10, 20 a day. You're just not going to get people at that unless you're doing super hyper personalized outreaches, like you're cold calling them, you're doing LinkedIn message, you're engaging with their posts, you're doing that sort of like very personalized approach. But like if you want to do it with less effort and more automated, just send that scale. And one of the best ways to send and do at volume is with cold emails. And it has the highest, by far highest ROI. We've seen like 10, 20, 50x ROI of just cold emails. So in this video, I'm going to show you the main steps to go through. And there should be a lot of value for you to go ahead and start, booking calls for your AI agency, or at least like, having a more understanding. So the beginning is about niche, often script. So you don't necessarily want to be general and go everywhere. You want to pick an industry, ideally with a total applicable market of 50k businesses. The reason why is because if it's less than 10k, there's just not enough volume to send at volume, if that makes sense. You'll get through the list very quickly. If it's like above, like if it's below like 5k, whatever, you might as well just do the personalized approach, personalized LinkedIn approach, personalized, you do cold calls to them and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't bother doing like, this like at mass anyway with, such a low TAM, especially, and then you have to find exactly of those 4 or 5k, emails. It's not worth it. I'd ideally look for companies that 50k plus, but ideally like 500k, 400k, in the total applicable market. So, for example, 170k HVAC businesses are in the US alone. One of the ways to pick industries is like there's 3 different ways. There's what you have experience in. When you have experience in a specific industry, you're going to understand the lingo, you understand like the problems, etc. 2, what you have interest in. So if you have interest in a specific sector, specific industry that you want to go into that. And 3, an industry that is growing. You do not want to go into a dying industry. It's just not a good space to be in because everyone's suffering in that space. Like, newspapers, the shit like that. It's a dying industry. I wouldn't go in it. Core business, like who you going to be targeting? Is it going to be small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses? What locations? A lot of you probably watching this are in English speaking countries, so you probably want to target English speaking nations, but there are a lot of opportunities in the Eastern European market, South America, etc. So that's something to definitely do some research into. But like as a whole, let's stick to the basics. Let's stick to something simple. So English speaking countries, and also then who are you targeting? Small, medium, large, and this is dependent on results. If you don't have any results yet, you're gonna probably target the smaller to the mid-range-ish companies. If you do have results, you're going to target mid to larger companies. When we got our first client, it was actually a company doing about 6 to 7 million revenue as our first client. So you can actually, with no clients previously, land them if you've got decent sales skills, etc. But yeah, like if you're a beginner, I'd go for like small to mid. But if you're much bigger, you got results, for example, go for like medium to larger companies. And now the offer itself. So you pick the industry. Now it's like, what are you going to offer them? And there's kind of 2 different approaches. Like there's one direct where you actually understand, like, the solution. Okay, you've done it before. For example, you've had the company replace four full-time employees with some sort of AI voice caller or some other random software you've done before that you can offer to other companies in the industry, because like other people suffer with that because it's all they all have universally, it's the same business model, so they universally have like similar business problems, right? So you can a go ahead and sell it to all of them. So essentially, the first way is like you know what solution you're going to provide them, and that's one way of doing it. The other way is you don't know what to provide them, but you know overall the outcomes of AI helps reduce costs, can help increase revenue, helps reduce teams' time, etc. And so you just propose and you show them this is what you can do, and then you then offer the audit call where you're going to identify the places where they can achieve X, Y, Z, they can achieve the cut costs and all that sort of stuff. So those are two approaches. You know the solution you're going to offer them, and then you offer them a demo video and a demo call, so you just A/B test it to see what works best. And the other solution is just like the overall outcome, and then pitching the audit. Cool. But there's two ways to do it. One way there's a huge opportunity is actually audit in real life. And I'm talking about like very no-brainer. If you have no clients, you should be offering this for free. So like free audits on, you can be on call or it can be in real life. The opportunity I'm talking about in real life is find a local area, maybe in your country, target only people in your country or your state or whatever. Offer to go in person to their business to give them a free AI audit, because when you do it in person, you build a connection with them. So those are the two approaches. It's best to do both of them. If you don't know the solutions to offer them, you can just use Gemini. There's AI solutions out there that can do deep research into your industry to find particular solutions where AI can help either cut costs, increase revenue, save time. That solves a big pain point. It could be AI callers, voice agents. It can be maybe more software, back-end related shit. It can be like anything. As long as it helps them cut costs, increase revenue, save time, make them more efficient as a whole, you wanna offer them. None of that BS like good to have and all nice to haves. It has to be needs. It's gonna solve big problems. So those are the two ones. You know what solution providing them, and one you don't really know. You have to audit them first. I would test both, because like the more tests you do, you're gonna find the winner much faster. But they all work. And then email structure and script. I'm not going to go through our scripts, because if I reveal our scripts, guess what? If 1,000 people watch this, it's eventually going to stop working. Like I've shared my scripts before, but like I'm not going to share them again. But I can show you the principles of how you can book 2 to 5 calls, a week. Direct and upfront. They have to be able to scan it very, because they get emails all the time, right? You're not going to be the only one cold emailing them. They're going to get inboxes and emails sent to them, and you want to stand out first, so you want them to be able to scan it, so it can't be too long. None of this, I am the owner of XYZ. No one gives a fuck about what you are. It's about them. What can you do for them? So like, hey name, we help the company do XYZ. Saw you in a similar space. Mind if I just send you a quick video on how we did that? It's really simple stuff like that. Sound as human as possible, like you're messaging a friend. 3 to 5 sentences max. Again, you don't want it like long as fuck. A/B testing, like some people just do when they do campaigns, they do one email copy. Like, what are you doing? Like, if that doesn't work, you're like, oh, cold email doesn't work now. No, you have to test different variations, different offers, different angles, different subject lines to see what works best. You could have a winning email copy, but you have a shit subject line, no one's opening it. You'll think like, oh shit, the email's bad, but actually the subject line isn't good enough, and they're just not opening the email. Case studies, emails do the best. So if you have case studies, you want to use them. If you go to a business and you mention the business name and you mention the results, it's just a level of like, okay, you know what you're doing, you've done this before, rather than like what you can do. But obviously, if you have no experience, you have to use that other angle, like what they can achieve with AI. You could say, which we started off with doing, so it does work with smaller businesses, which is why I'm telling you, not if you're a beginner, don't target the bigger companies, because they're likely not going to respond. But if you do have case studies, leverage that, target mid to large companies. 6, remove spammy words. So use Mail Meteor. So put your copy on there, and it will kind of tell you like if it's spammy, like if it's very salesy, etc. Just because those sort of words will increase the chances of you landing in the spam inbox. And 7, sound different. Don't sound like everyone else out there. Being different is better than being better. So email structures that we follow, and like the sequence. 5 to A/B tests on the main email of different copies, structures, offers, subject lines, etc. So you're testing different variations of that first email, so you can see what the winner is. You're going to see quite distinctly like 1 or 2 being the way better performer, that's providing the most opportunities, and getting the most positive replies. So you want to turn the others off and then make more variations on that one alone. 2 days later, there's email 2, which is 3 to 5 A/B tests, and then email 3, which is the same 3 to 5 A/B tests. In these A/B tests, in the first one, it's just more reminders. In the other one, you can, if you have case studies, again, it's a really good position in these emails and the follow-ups to do case studies are the best. But if you don't, it can be just like simple reminders, and you can do factual based ones. Like for example, in real estate, you could say most, real estate industries are spending X amount on this, on these company, on this, on, full-time employees when it could be replaced, stuff like that. The dream outcome, or like what this solution or what your solution can help them with, or what an audit can help them with, based on like what's happening, what's in their space. Like, yeah, essentially that. Email CTAs, demo videos, demo calls, case study videos if you have them, and also like in-person audits. Those work the best. Nothing to portfolios you can do, but like things with a portfolio sent over to them, you might have to follow up on them quite a lot because they have to like go through it themselves. Videos I found better. Even if you have a portfolio, do a video over the portfolio and do it based on that. The next up is the email infra stack. So setting up the infra of the inboxes as a whole. Give me a second. So we have so you need to get domains. Do not use your main domains for your email accounts. The reason why is because it's eventually going to get burned. All cold email domains eventually get burned, and so it's just going to mess up your internal comms and trust. You want to use domains that have different variations to your main domain. So if your name is AI Accelerator, you don't use, obviously, that you use AI Accelerator co.com and stuff like that. And two, you then have to connect inboxes to those domains. I don't recommend getting inboxes directly from Google, Microsoft. You can get them 10x cheaper by going to an email reseller. We have our own reselling, shameless plug, but if you want to get them 10x cheaper, you can go to Zendesk.io and get them directly from us. A lot of AI agency owners and SaaS are using us for their email infra to send campaigns, and we use our own infra to send those campaigns. But how our setup looks like, it's a Microsoft setup. So one domain, 100 US-based Microsoft inboxes are connected to those domains, sending 5 emails per day per inbox. And that's like, in total with one domain setup, there's about 500 email sends per that domain. So if you have a 4 domain setup, that's 400 inboxes, sending 2k emails a day. And with Sale 30, you're spending like 115 for the email inboxes. So you save over 1k, getting, like, instead of getting it directly from Google, Microsoft themselves. The warm-up process, so we'll configure the domains, and then, or whatever reseller you're going to use, they'll configure all the domain inboxes, and then they should automatically like send it directly to your Instantly account or your Zendesk or your +5 account or whatever you Smart Lead account. And then from there you warm them up for, I recommend, around 12 to 14 days, as it will perform better long term. Usually when it comes to cold emails, at the start it will be the same, so no warm up versus warm up. So within the first maybe 30 days it'll be the same deliverability, but for it to last longer, warming them up will essentially like extend the life cycle of your inboxes. So yeah, that's the email info. You need to have that in place. I recommend sending at least 1.5 to 2k emails per day. After you get that set up, add it to your account and start warming up, you then want to do the lead gen process. So to cheaply get leads, this is our kind of stack. So we go on Apollo. This is one of the biggest databases out there. You then go ahead and filter what your industry, the decision makers, etc. So on email status, have that unverified. Job titles, target decision makers, owners, CEOs, founders, CTOs, CMOs, CFOs, and some other ones. You can just have it on the departments and just have it on C-suite as a whole. And then you want to have it on location. So who you're going to be targeting. If you're English speaking, you'll probably want to target English speaking languages. So Australia, US, UK, Canada, New Zealand. Then employee count. So this kind of gives you the kind of rough estimate of like their revenue and like how big they are. If you have no case studies, I would recommend smaller companies, maybe up to 50 employees. But if you have case studies, target like mid to large companies, so 100, 200 employees plus. And then industry keywords is the sector you're going to be deciding. So whatever industry you picked, you kind of put it in here, and then go give it a quick scan, make sure like these are your ideal customers. If not, and there's like a lot of because you might find some that's just like not specific, it's not like actually what you want to target, you can then just include some keywords so you can like narrow it down, where you can actually find your ICP. From there, like we don't recommend scraping directly from Apollo. It's just overpriced. You can get it like way cheaper by using another tool, which is not us, by the way, not affiliate by us. We use them. So Ample Leads is a tool we use. So how Ample Leads would work, it's like 11, maybe 11, $12 per 10k verifications. Um, no, so $30 per 11k verifications. What you'd want to do, so now you've done the filter on your other tab, you want to copy and paste this link, and you want to paste it on here, and then from there, like how many leads there was. So you want to have at least 10k leads. So try get at least 10k leads from your scrape. The reason why is because when you verify those leads, not all of them are going to be verified. You might find 50% are verified, 40% are verified too. You want to be able to maximize the amount of verified leads that you are getting. So whatever you see Apollo, the amount of leads you can get, just scrape all of them. So if it's 7k, you just put 7k here, give it a name, and then from there just scrape. And after you're scraping, results will be shown below. And now after you scrape it, within 24-48 hours, your list should be delivered, where you download it, and you can send emails directly after scraping them, because not all of them are still available, and so your bounce rates are going to be high. If your bounce rates are high, you're going to ruin your inboxes very quickly. So you want to come here. This is like, if you go on credits, this is like very cheap. Obviously, it's not like the best email verification system. There's like zero bounce, etc., which are higher cost, but this is, if you're a beginner, this is more than good enough to use. 50k per $19 verification. You then just download the list on Ample Leads, put it here and let it verify, and then all your results are going to come into this section, which is going to show your verified leads. So as you can see the estimates. You can see around 50%, 40%, 60%. So it's going to be around 30% here. So it's going to be around 30 to 60% of the leads from Apollo are going to be verified. After you do that, it's then time to set up the campaign. So you've done the lead gen now. You've got the leads. You start verifying the leads. The next step, give me a second. This laptop is getting slow. So many tabs open. I can't move to the right. Anyway, last step would be setting up the campaign. So there are different tools. You can do the Smart Lead, there's Plus Vibe, there's loads of like email senders out there. I recommend instantly. Just like I've never had problems with them. I just feel like they're the best. I've had problems with Smartly before. But instantly is going to be what I recommend. You go on the campaign section, you press start campaign, and then from there, like you add the leads, the verified leads into the lead section, and on the sequences, you then start pasting all your sequences up. So your A/B test of the step 1, step 2, step 3, and some people like have a longer follow-up process, like 4 and 5. But my particular style, I like to just do 2 follow-ups, and then you re-engage those leads and redo a new campaign to them after like 30-40 days, because people forget about you very quickly, right? And a lot of the times when cold email works, it's like based on timing, like when they open the emails and see it, or maybe they're not ready at that particular time to move on that solution, but maybe a month later their situation changes. So you want to like tap into that list every like maybe 30-60 days. So you can actually add a next step, which is like 30 days later, you engage them again. When it comes to options, so Monday to Friday, don't send on weekends, because a lot of these corporate businesses, like they're not going to be active on the weekends. Well, speaking of that, like we did have a campaign going on Sunday yesterday, and that like got like a positive response for us. But like I don't necessarily recommend it, just because people are usually away. Here you add your inboxes, so you should have them tagged instead of individually selecting all of them. You just select the tag of the inboxes, so like batch 10, etc., which essentially is all the inboxes that's added. The main settings to have is make sure you have send first email as text only on, daily limit, whatever that, how much infrastructure you have, so that could be 2k. But if you have 2 different, say your 2k a day volume, you have 2 different campaigns, you can have 1k in this one, 1k in the other. But if you only have one campaign running, you just put it on 2k, whatever the daily send is. Minimum time, this really depends on your email for setup. If you're using Google inboxes and you have like a 3 inbox per domain, you can have it every like 30 to 40 minutes, whatever. If you're having the Microsoft setup from us, we recommend between like 60 to 70 minutes, and that's mainly the settings you want to have. Email accounts, this is where you're going to see how it is. So our setup, like I said, is our own infra, like Microsoft, so we have like quite a lot here, and so you can go ahead and you can see the daily send and the health score, etc. of them. But overall, like, that's as a whole. I hope this video is valuable for you. You got to see the whole entire process we used to get our first client and book calls with actually large companies now. So yeah, if you want to like, yeah, go ahead and follow this. If you want to get inboxes from us, just use sendnest.io in the description and go ahead and get inboxes. If you have any questions, maybe add me on IG, ask me any questions. Yeah, hopefully this was valuable for you, and I hope, you know, if you want me to do another video on this space particular, maybe it's on email copy and more on the scripting side, etc. Because I didn't really go through the scripting, you know, properly, because I wanted to overall in this video show you like more of the structure. But if you want me to do that, just, you know, put a comment below, or any other ideas you'd want me to do. But yeah, hopefully this value, and I speak, you know, I hope to speak to you soon and do a new video. Take care. Bye bye.